Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is the 21st of February 2018, and I haven't done a podcast in a while. The reason why I've not done a podcast in a while is because the next door neighbours are having a brand new roof put on, so there's a lot of banging, there's scaffolding up everywhere. There's all sorts going on. It's absolutely crazy, and I've been a little bit devastated as well because I've not been able to do any videos for like 3 or 4 weeks. I've not been able to do a podcast for 3 or 4 weeks, so I've been itching at the seams. But a lot's happened over the last 3 or 4 weeks, so it's not been unproductive, which is good. We're going to talk a lot in detail about a few things today. I just got a funny feeling. I'm looking at my wall because I have no notes written down. As you know, I like to do these kind of things on a whim. So I have no idea what paths we're going to cross in this podcast today, but it's going to be an interesting one, I'll tell you that. All right, so let's touch on a few things. What have I personally been up to the last 3 or 4 weeks? Well, I don't know whether you know or not, but I've launched a brand new software development that I've been working on since maybe about October, November last year. Took me a while to build it up because I haven't had as much opportunity to work on it as I would like, obviously with the Academy and the Clickteam stuff and all the teaching, and obviously some other work that I've been working on. I've not really had a chance to get it boxed off in a certain time frame, but I kept it quiet. I didn't tell anybody what I was doing because I didn't want to come out with all these false promises of times and schedules and all that. So I've just been working on it in the background. But the app is called Game Launcher Creator. If you've not seen it, you can check it out now. It's got its own website and everything. GameLauncherCreator.com. And basically what the Game Launcher Creator enables you to do is create your own game launchers for your games, for your game developments. So to some people may think, well, why do I need to download an app that can create me a game launcher if I can create my own? If you can create your own, then that's all fair and well, but there's a lot of people out there that either A, can't create their own, or B, can't be bothered to create their own. Or C, maybe there's just a couple of roadblocks that they run into. So the Game Launcher Creator doesn't just create bog standard game launchers. I realised when I was developing it that if I'm going to put the time in to develop this software and people need to make use of it, it needs to contain features, advanced features, if you will. So it does contain advanced features. It contains the ability to have cloud-based content such as images. You can also create updaters. There's a built-in updater with the game launcher, so you're not only creating a game launcher for your game, you're also creating it also has a built-in updater, so that updater is built in. Now you can configure that updater, so you can configure which files it reads to see which version of the game the user's got installed. You can then check on a server which is the current version available, so the updater will then compare what the user has installed and what's available, and if there's a newer version available, it'll download the patch or the update and it'll install it as well, which is pretty cool. The cloud-based content is good because it enables you to not only have local images, but you can have images that are stored on a server, and I felt like that was imperative to implement into the game launcher, because a lot of game launchers out there, they feed from online images. Because if you have local images, like for example you build your game launcher and you put your local images in to the game launcher itself, then you can't update those images. The only time you can update those images is if you update the launcher. Well, you might not want to update the launcher all the time, so you can have your images cloud-based, so they can be based on a web server. It's as simple as that. If you've got a website or you've got a hosting account, then you can just upload that image, so that if you want to update one of the images inside the game launcher, then all you have to do is upload it to your server, and everybody around the world, whoever runs your game launcher, it will download the new image in real time, so you can constantly update images. You can also, this was one of the greatest feats that I had to achieve, was the ability to use get and post to servers, so you can retrieve dynamic strings. And another reason why I felt that was needed was because if you have an online multiplayer game, say for example, And when the user launches the game launcher, you might want to display how many people are playing online. Well, you can do that really easy with the Game Launcher Creator, because what you can do is you can tell it a PHP string, and you can do a post and a get query. So that'll connect with your server, which can then spew back the numbers of how many people are online and feed it into the game launcher, which is cool because there are a lot of game launchers out there, especially for multiplayer games, where you want to show people how many players are online. If you're developing an online card game, for example, or an online poker game, then obviously you're going to want to show lobby information and how many people are online. You can do all that with the Game Launcher Creator. You can do all of that, all of it. It's great, and it's so easy as well. There's no programming required, there's no coding required. I've already done all the programming and coding for you. All you've got to do is fill in the settings. It's really easy, and it's really easy to test as well. The other advantage to it as well is an integrated template system, which I developed as well. So you're not just left in the lurch to develop your own, to design your own game launchers. If you need a bit of an idea, or you need a bit of a help with layout and stuff, there's a template system built in, and the original version comes with a stack of templates for you to choose from, and you can play about with. You can change stuff, you can do whatever you want. The templates are yours to use. So I know that that's a massive plug for my software, but I don't really care because it's my podcast. So I'll plug it to death, and I have worked on it, quite a lot. I've worked on it. It's one of the I'm very proud of it. It's one of the few developments that I actually get to complete, and I'm very, very happy with it. And the best thing is, it's so easy to use. Anybody can use it, and it doesn't mean that advanced users can't use it either, because it takes away all the time you would have to develop a game launcher, which we know time is of the essence. So check it out now. All the w's.gamelaunchercreator.com. You can check it out there. It's also available on a Click Store as well. There's all the information's on there. I'm building the documentation online as well, so everybody can access it. And it's also compatible with basically any game engine. So it's not just limited to Clickteam Fusion. You can use it with any game engine at all, whether it's Unity, even Unreal, Game Guru, FPS Creator, CryEngine. Game. It's compatible with anything, whatever kind of game you're making in whatever game engine or authoring tool. It's compatible straight across the board. So there's no limits to the potential of the software. So yeah, check it out. I'll plug it one more time. That's gamelaunchercreator.com. Check it out now. Hopefully the website will fill you in on all the information that you need, and you can get it straight away online. You can also check it out. I'm also developing templates for it every week or so, so that you can download additional templates as well. You just download them and just install them straight to the directory where you installed to, and you've got a new template. So the job is a good one. So that's the Game Launcher Creator out of the way. What else have we got to cover? What else have we been doing? Well, the Academy. You're going to hate me for this, but I started thinking about a new design for it, but I'm not going to do it. So you don't have to worry about that. It's not that I don't like the current design. I love the current design. It took me a long time to do the current design. If you remember way back when I took the site down for a weekend and just literally worked like 50 hours straight on the design to get it all done and out of the way. I love the new design. It's excellent. But every so often I just keep thinking, maybe I need to tweak this, maybe I need to tweak that, but I'm not going to do it. I did think about it. I kept thinking about it. I kept thinking, maybe I should just tweak this and tweak that, or change this and change that. But when I look at it on the whole, I'm very, very, very happy with the current layout and design of the website. It's fluid, it looks professional, it looks good, it looks creative, and that's what people want. That's the kind of environment I want people to be in, that creative kind of mood. And I also developed the design of the website in hope that as being a part of Clickteam, that we could advance the image of Clickteam as well. there's been some discussion of that over the last few weeks, which is good. It's been well needed. 2018 is a defining year, as we all know. So there's going to be quite a few changes around the Click team, around the company, around the community, around the products. There's going to be definitely going to be a reshape, a well-deserved and well-needed remold of the entire thing. It's certainly overdue. This is just my opinion. I'm sure other people will share this opinion. Maybe some others don't really care, but I've always had a strong belief because of my passion for Clickteam as a company and the product range, you know, and I love being a part of Clickteam. Obviously, it's just a passion inside you that, you know, makes you want to scream out, you know, this is what my opinion is, and I have managed to get that opinion across in the last couple of weeks. Because, you know, everybody inside Clickteam, everybody's working really busy. Everybody's really busy, like really busy. There's a lot going on. I mean, you know, some people are obviously showing cracks of being impatient when it comes to the development of Fusion 3, but you know, again, I'm not even just saying this from a Clickteam standpoint. I'm being really serious when I say that everybody is extremely busy. This is not something that's just getting worked on for a couple of hours a day. This is around the clock stuff, and they are making significant progress, really big progress. Clickteam in the past, as you know, sometimes this is going to be a difficult one to try and come across in the right way. You'll know yourself that in the past, there's been a lot of community pressure for product releases and stuff, and then Clickteam would sometimes make the habit of getting this thing done and then releasing it, but then people would do nothing but complain, oh, it's buggy, or it doesn't do this, or it's crap because you've released it too early. So with Fusion 3, Clickteam took the stance of, you know what, we're going to work on this as a professional team. This is going to be done right. We are not going to rush the development of the software. Obviously, we have timescales, and obviously we do operate as a company, so there is a need for a Fusion 3 release. Everybody is fully aware of that. However, you know, internally things have taken a different stroke. It's not the same Clickteam as it was 5-6 years ago. You know, today it's a lot stronger, it's a lot better, it's a more defined Clickteam, because everybody knows that Fusion 3 is not just a 2.5 update to Multimedia Fusion 2. This is a whole new software development. This is a brand new, written from scratch software development, and it's got to be done right. And that's what we're doing, basically. So it's very difficult every time you log onto the forums and you see a new post in the forum 3, in the Fusion 3 thread, with someone asking the obvious question of, when's it going to be ready? Now, I can understand, I can fully understand, you know, the people wanting to ask that, but the issue you've got is, because we are an online company, if we had something, if we felt that the time was right to release something like another preview or whatever, then we would do it. We don't necessarily need people asking all the time, when's it going to be ready, because you're not going to get a clear-cut answer for that. I'll tell you that right now. So there's no point asking when's it going to be ready. But let me give you some hope. This is not all going down the path that you think it's going down. Let me give you some hope that Fusion 3 is closer than you think, very much closer than you think. I don't know whether you've seen on the forums this week, there was a post by Kizguri, and that clearly defines how Clickteam are now doing the console conversions. So you can convert your Fusion 2.5 apps up to and Fusion 3, and Clickteam can do the console conversion service for you. So what does that basically entail? Well, I haven't had the opportunity to go through it with a fine-tooth comb, so I'm just going to speak from the outset here and just say that basically Clickteam, you know, obviously it's not a free service. That would be, but it's a professional service. So what they will do is they will port your game, and they will take your game, go through all the source with a fine-tooth comb, and they will try and polish it up for you as well, event-wise, and take it over so that you can export it directly to Xbox One. I think, is it PlayStation 4? Let me go back. Yeah, PlayStation 4 and Nintendo Switch as well. Now, this might sound really appealing to a lot of people out there, and it is appealing. It's a huge service to provide, and it's doable. Clickteam, we know we can do it. We've got the manpower, we've got the resources, we've got the talent, and that's the main thing. And this is clean. This is clear cut. I mean, this is a huge step forward for Clickteam, and it also just goes to show as well, how close Fusion 3 is as well. That's the positive in all this. The release of this kind of service just goes. Sorry if you can hear that in the background. I'm just swiggling about. This just goes to show how close Fusion 3 really is. But again, there's no time schedule to be released at the moment publicly. But yeah, this is a huge step forward. So take that as 2018 being the year for Clickteam. There's a lot that's going to change, especially image-wise, because I really want to get hands-on with helping Clickteam define a new image, a new step forward for Clickteam as a company and the product line. I'm trying to get as hands-on as possible, and the reason why I do that is because of the passion for the company and the product. Obviously, I want it to succeed. I love being a part of Clickteam. I love doing all the things I do around Clickteam, like with the academy and the teaching. I love doing it all. I think it's a fantastic product. I've always thought that the company is brilliant, genius almost. And you've got to remember as well, there's a lot of competition out there that are newcomers to the game development industries. There's a lot of competition out there. Anybody can say there's a lot of competition out there, but is it actually competition? I could name a few products. I'm not going to, because I don't want to create any controversy in this podcast. But some of the software out there is not even 10-20% of what a product like Fusion 2.5 or especially Fusion 3 is. So it's a big year for Clickteam, and for some strange reason, Clickteam always get left out on. If you Google top 10, game engines, and Clickteam are always getting left out. And the only reason I can think of is because, in my opinion, I don't think Clickteam as a company are making themselves look relevant, and that this is where the passion comes in again. This is why a couple of weeks ago I made a point to Clickteam, to a few of the guys in Clickteam, that 2018 needs to be. Now, the other issue we've got there is it's all fine and dandy me saying this, but inside Clickteam you've got a stack full of developers that are all busy working on Fusion 3, Fusion 2.5, the exporters. So I'm not just saying this to have a go at Clickteam. I'm not just saying, listen, you need to sort this. I'm actually saying, listen, I'll jump on board. I'll get my hands dirty. Let's rebrand this. You guys crack on with the development. You guys develop the products. That's what you're good at. They are good. Fernando, Eve, all them guys, Anders, James, they're all talented people, and their resource should be the development side, which it is. So it's time for people like me and Chris and Simon to bang our heads together and go, right, we need to switch direction with the image. So whilst them guys are doing the development, let's turn around the image stuff. But then you've got to remember as well that myself, Simon and Chris also have other responsibilities, not just within Clickteam but outside of Clickteam as well. So it's a fine balance, but we've already made the point. Chris already knows about this. Chris has been aware of this for a long time, and Simon as well. But yeah, so this year is going to be it's going to be big. It's going to be big. A lot of stuff's going to happen. We're going to you know, put the pedal to the metal, and we're gonna graft. We're gonna switch this thing around, because Fusion 3 deserves. I mean, technically, it is. It's going to be one of the greatest products ever released. I can tell you that right now. So it deserves the manpower, the time, the resources to get the image out there. You know, so people take the product a lot more serious. You know, we need to disband from the old look of Clickteam. Um, the company needs a good rebrand. It needs a new image. There's no doubt about that. I'm just giving you my opinion here. It needs a new image. The product line needs to look like a 2018 product. It can act like a 2018 product. It's like having a Ferrari. If you're going to release a brand new Ferrari with a brand new prototype engine, you can't release it looking like a Lauda from the 80s. You need to make sure that the image is also on par with what the ability of the engine is, and the Fusion 3 engine is going to be absolutely massive. It's going to be huge. So hopefully I can keep banging heads with Chris and Simon and Nico and Olivia, and obviously get some feedback from the other guys as well. But I'm really dedicated to pushing it forward, and you know, rebranding Clickteam, and the products ready for the future, because you know, once Fusion 3's out, it's a whole new ball game. Simon's working very, very, very hard on shuffling around the infrastructure. I mean, at the moment, you'll notice that we've got the forums, we've got the websites, we've got the shops, we've got the Click Store, we've got the library, we've got all these different parts to the Clickteam infrastructure, and Simon is under the cosh to get all this revamped, ready for the release of Fusion 3. But again, I also offered to help out on that front as well, because I've got the experience, I've got the resource, I've got the time. So, you know, all the cards are on the table. It's just a case of when, where, and how. That's all it is. But yeah, it's going to be I've just got a feeling in my funny bone that it's going to be a good year this year for Clickteam. It has to be a good year for Clickteam this year. Because Fusion 3 is not far off at all. What else have we got? Oh, here's some exciting news. These podcasts I love doing them, whether I'm doing them on my own or whether I'm doing them with someone else. I love doing them, because it just enables me to speak my mind. It enables me to tell you things that you might not have otherwise known. But here's a good one. So at the minute, in my personal life, these are my primary. This is my primary work week. All right, so I get up every morning about 8:30 every morning, and I work from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock at night every night. That's 12 hours every day. I don't really take many breaks. I maybe have some lunch, maybe have some tea or dinner, as other people call it. Up here in the north, we call it tea. So I'll have something to eat at dinner time, and then I'll have something to eat at tea time. Some of you guys out there are going to be like, what's he on about tea time? In England, we have a strange, I'm going to go off on the tracks again here, but it doesn't matter. Over here, we call it tea. It's just, I don't know whether it's just a northern thing. I know down south, they don't really say it, but up north we do. But if I said to someone down south, oh, what we're having for tea, they would know what I was talking about. So it's just not commonly used. I think it's more of a northern thing, but everybody uses it. That's how we define it over here. So it's, you know, the correct term is lunchtime for dinner and dinner time for tea. So at 12 o'clock you would have lunch, and at 5 o'clock you would have dinner. But we don't call it up here up north. We have dinner time is 12 o'clock, and tea time is 5 o'clock. And it does stem from somewhere. I have looked into this before, why they called it tea time. I can't remember what it was, but I'll try and remember. See, now that I've digressed, I can't remember what I was actually talking about. Oh, my work day. Okay, so yeah, so come dinner time, 12 o'clock, I usually have half an hour off to have something to eat. And then at 5 o'clock, I usually have tea. It's usually about 5, 6 o'clock. And then I carry on working again through till 9. Then I go to bed maybe about 10, half 10. So I have an hour after 9 o'clock to chill out and whatnot. But sometimes I can work through till 11, and that can end up as a 14-hour day. And this is every day, Monday to Friday. And then I pick my kids up on a Friday, and then I usually have them to the Sunday, unless I've got something on a Saturday night. Like for example, this weekend, I'm working all week this week, and then this weekend I'm DJing on Saturday. So I'm going to be so I'm going to have to pick the kids up on Friday after working all day, have them Friday night and Saturday day. Then in Saturday afternoon, I'm going to have to go and set up all my equipment, and then Saturday night I've got like a 5-6 hour stint of DJing, and then Sunday I've got to get up. It's one of my friends' birthdays, so them guys are going on a pub crawl all day, so I'm going to be on a pub crawl all day Sunday, and then Monday comes and with deja vu again. I have to get up at 8:30. I have to start work for 9. And straight through. So what do I do on the Monday to Friday schedule? Well, this is what I typically do. I typically get up, like I said, I switch the computer on for 9 o'clock, coffee in hand. Now, I have my Clickteam stuff to do. I have the Academy to do. I also own a web design company as well. But it's mostly graphic design, so I usually do, and that's just local. I don't do it. There are some work that I do nationally and internationally, but most of the work I try and keep that local because it's easier to pick the phone up. If I've got an issue with something, it's easier for me to pick the phone up and ring a client rather than have a client all the way in Denmark or America. So I don't really want to target. I've never with the web design and graphic design, I've never really wanted to target internationally or even nationally, just locally, because like I said, if I'm designing a stack of menus for a restaurant, I want to be able to pick the phone up and say, listen, what do I put for this bit? I don't want to be sending emails and then waiting a day, you know what I mean? So I've got that, but that's not super busy because I try not to promote the web design and graphic design as much. And then I've also got the app, like the game launcher creator that I work on. I've got several, well, not several, maybe a couple of other apps that I work on from time to time. I do a lot of work in for Clickteam in the Discord. I do support in the Discord chat, on the forums. And obviously the Academy is the greatest extension for Clickteam support because it enables me to create content, which is vastly needed. I've always said that since I got on board with Clickteam like 5 years ago. It'll be 5 years to this year, or 4 years, something like that. But I've always said that content is king, whether it's videos, whether it's podcasts, whether it's guides, so obviously the Academy takes up quite a bit of time. And then I try and help Fernando the best I can. Fernando's a great guy. He's got a lot of responsibility in Clickteam, so I help him out with doing testing on exporters, testing all different kinds of things, for HTML5 and mostly for Android. At the minute, I'm just starting to take up doing some Xbox One stuff for the UWP. Because I believe that there's an update needed for the exporter, so we're looking into that. I've got an Xbox One here, so there's nothing to stop me testing, so I think either this week or next week we're going to start cracking on with getting that up to date, because I'm a big fan of the UWP and HTML5 exporters. I'm a huge fan, so nothing would sorry if you can hear me clicking my pen in the background, just going to drop that now. I'm a huge fan of HTML5 and especially the UWP exporter, because there's been nothing greater than seeing Clickteam developed games and apps on the Xbox One. So that's pretty cool. I'll put my pen down again. What else have we got? Yeah, so my working week is crazy. I mean, you've got to remember I've got to juggle all the children as well in between all this. My partner, she works and she goes to university as well. So I often drop her off and pick her up whenever I can, because it gets me out of the house. Because if I don't pick her up or drop her off, I am not leaving this house, and sometimes it's quite a scary thought. So I like to go out and get a bit of fresh air while I can. You know, I haven't been to the gym for a long time, you know, and I keep thinking I need to go back to the gym, you know, because um, yeah, I feel like I'm starting to get a bit of a gut on me. I don't like that. But uh, but I can't find the time. That's the problem at the moment. I can't find the time because there is so much going on. So much going on. But it's good, it's productive. I'd rather be doing something than nothing. Every time I sit down and watch a bit of TV, 15, 20 minutes in, I start thinking about everything that I'm working on, whether it's Clickteam stuff, whether it's Academy stuff, whether it's, you know, any other work that I've got going on. I'm constantly thinking all the time, but it's good because it keeps me going. I would rather be thinking about work than be sat there doing nothing all day, going out of my mind, not knowing what I'm going to do. So it's all good in the hood. So this is the exciting part. Ever since I was a young kid, I've loved video production. Absolutely been obsessed with video and filmography. And when I was younger, God, sounds so old saying that. I'm only 32. But seriously, when I was younger, you couldn't get you couldn't get any decent camera kits anyway. Looking back at the time, it was all it was all the dog's bollocks. But it was so expensive, and my parents could never afford to buy me top of the range camera stuff or out like that. But I remember a little black and white camera that I got. It was actually a video camera. It was a kid's one. I was only a kid anyway, but I had so much fun with that camera. I think it was running at like 24 frames. It was definitely producing 24p, even in black and white. But I had so much fun with that camera, and then obviously, as you guys probably know me, when I left home at 16, I did a lot of things, web design. I've worked on radio. I've done radio production. I had a breakfast show for 2 years. Um, I've done a little bit of video production when I first left school. Did some I remember doing some stuff at BBC for Top of the Pops. But ever since then, it's kind of died down because I never really had the time to trial and error with video. So obviously I had to work, so I'm self-employed. I had to keep working and stuff. But what I've done the last couple of weeks, if you remember a few months ago, I told you I bought the green screen kit, so I've got a green screen kit now. What else have we got? It's all right here in front of me, right at the side of my desk. It's a one big mess of cables now. I usually like to keep my area clean, but I've been buying loads of stuff, right? And I've had this Amazon fetish, so I bought that Prime at Christmas. I got the Amazon Prime, and it's wow, like you can pay for something today, and it will come literally in the morning. And I'm like, whoa, this is good, but it's cost me a lot of money as well because I'm buying things left, right, and centre, and I'm like a little child. I'm like a little child at Christmas, so. I don't usually spend too much money on myself, but I thought, you know what, I need to get back into video production. So I've slowly started acquiring and accumulating some gadgets. Last year I bought an action cam, which is awesome. It's right here in front of me. It's it's an Activon CX. It can film at 1080, but the 1080 only produces 30 frames. 720 will give me 60 frames. What else have I got here? I've got a Panasonic HD CSD41. It's quite an old video camera, but it's got HDMI out, which is good. And it's got a digital zoom, which I'm not a fan of. Never been a fan of digital zooms. Better put a lens cover down on that. Always a fan of optical zoom. I've got a HD C51. I've got my Canon 450D. But I can't shoot video on the 450D, so what I'm using the DSLR for is so I can, I can trial and error with images, and if I can bring the image onto the screen, I can mess around with color correction and stuff like that. But I've just ordered a Panasonic GH3, which enables me to do DSLR video shooting. Now, the camera's about 5 years old, but I'm not bothered about age. I'm bothered about quality, and the quality of the GH3 is fantastic. They have up to the GH7 out at the minute. It might even be more than that. I think it's GH7, but I don't give a toss. I don't really care. I'm not really one of these sheep that has to go for the latest thing. I've looked at the GH3. I've YouTubed. I've YouTubed about 20 odd videos looking at previews of what the quality people can get, and the Panasonic GH3 does enough for me. So I'm going to get that in. And then I thought to myself, so because what I want to do this year is I want to start doing more video content. I want to try and shy away from the podcast a little bit and start doing proper videos for you guys. like proper videos. And I'm not talking about trying to become a YouTuber or anything like that. I ain't interested in YouTube. I'm just interested in connecting with you guys on a better level. And I think it's going to be beneficial for Clickteam as well. I keep saying that to Clickteam, because once I get this green screen studio set up with the DSLR quality of the sensors and the lenses together on a DSLR, produces such high quality video, and it's going to be beneficial for Clickteam. It's going to be beneficial for Fusion3, because I really want to pour some time into video production, editing, and filmmaking. So I've been buying all these gadgets because I thought to myself, hang on a minute, maybe I could stream live. But see, I'm always one of these guys, I'm quite a technical guy, so a lot of people that I've spoke to, there's a guy over in Pennsylvania in America I did an app for a few years ago. He runs a video production company, and I was talking to him on Skype a couple of weeks ago, and I asked him what his setup was. Now he's it's not that he's not technically sound. He is technically sound, but he's not as technically sound as me. I'm the kind of guy that grew up in the 80s and 90s where you had to trial and error stuff. You know, there was no internet back then. You know what I mean? Showing my age again. But yeah, so he said, oh, you know, I got my camera rig and it goes into this TV box, and then we use Wirecast to broadcast out live. And I'm like, wow. So he gave me the full lowdown of this rig setup that he has, and for him to broadcast out live, obviously he pays for the Wirecast. He's got this Blackmagic telly box where you can plug all his HDMI sources into, but it's a hardware switch. I've never wanted a hardware switch, so I thought, hang on a minute, what can I do here? So I started ordering loads of little bits from Amazon, and I was going on some video production sites, and everybody kept saying the same thing. Listen to this, right? Ready for this? So all these videography sites and filmography sites and all these video production sites that you go onto, you've got guys that have got plenty of money. They're buying £3,000-4,000 DSLR cameras. They've got all these rigs, all these fancy kits and all that, and then someone will come along and go, well, how can I broadcast live on YouTube with a Panasonic HDC SD41, which is quite an old video camera. I've got one right here in my hand. This is maybe about 10 years old. And they're all saying the same thing. They're all saying stuff like, you can't do it, you need to get a Blackmagic TV box and all this. And this guy was like, well, how much is all this going to cost me? And by the time they finished with the setup, it was like fucking £600-700. I was like, no, this is not right. Listen, I haven't delved into a video camera for years, but I'm still technically sound from when I was younger, when I was building computers up and working with electronics and all that. I thought there's got to be a better way of doing this. Well, lo and behold, I had a Panasonic HDC 41 in a box in my cupboard. So I routed it out and I looked at it, and it says full HD 1920 by 1080. It's got SD card, but it's got HDMI out, right? It's got AV multi out. It's got USB. You ain't going to be doing any live broadcasts through USB anytime soon. Let me put it that way. The protocol is just not the right one. The AV multi out is crap. That gives you an AV multi out to composite. You don't want composite. It looks like it's something produced from 1979. But when I spotted the HDMI out, I thought, hang on a minute, now we're onto something. So I went back to the same forums. I didn't ask the question myself, but I searched it. And there's been hundreds of people that have been saying, oh, I've got HDMI out on my camera, can I broadcast to YouTube live? And everybody kept saying the same thing. You can only do it with these, these fucking £600-700 HDMI capture cards. Bull. Absolute bull. I knew that this was all bull, and I thought these guys are supposed to be professionals. So I went onto Amazon and I started looking up for HDMI capture cards, and obviously you get all the apparently top of the range products for game capture, so you can capture stuff from your Xbox One and PlayStation 4, broadcast it live and all that. These things are retailing at over £100, so like £150 some of them go up to like £300-400. So I'm going through and I'm scrolling through Amazon, and I spotted this one. What was it called? Let me have a look at this right here. Get ready for this. Yeah. So it's unbranded. It's called a USB 3.0 1080p 60 FPS capture box, right? It had no reviews, so I took a chance because there was no reviews left for it. But in the description, it had capture Xbox One, PS4. So I ordered it. It cost me £38. It came. I ordered a mini HDMI to HDMI cable, and then I ordered some fast USB cables because I knew I wanted high quality from the HDMI capture box to the computer. And listen to this. So you plug the HDMI mini into the camcorder. You then plug the HDMI into the HDMI capture box. You then do USB to your computer. It then took me literally less than 30 seconds to get the live feed, clean live feed from the camera into OBS. Anything that is in my OBS can be streamed out to Facebook, YouTube, an RTSMP server, anything that you want. And I thought that, and I just didn't quite grasp why all these professionals, so-called professionals who have been working with cameras all these years and all that, didn't know that this was a thing. And I'm quite shocked because I thought to myself, how cool would it be to approach a local school as a test and say, listen, you've got a football game coming up, let me do a live broadcast for you online. And I wanted to do it as part of an experiment for myself, and I figured it out. All I would need is, if I have 3 cameras, all I would need is 3 of these boxes. Now you can hot wire these boxes. You can hot plug them. So I could plug out a camera and plug another camera in, and it wouldn't crash my computer. It wouldn't crash the OBS feed. It wouldn't do nothing. It would just obviously you would see the switch. So if I had 3 cameras set up, I need 3 of these boxes. That's going to cost me £120, right? These guys were saying that you need a Telemagic black box that costs £500–600. This is going to cost me £120 for 3 HDMI capture boxes that go into USB on the computer, and then I get the 3 live feeds straight into OBS, where I can do a soft transition between the frames, and all in HD as well. So bullshit, I call bullshit. It's not right, and I don't think it's these professional camera forums. I don't think it's the camera guy's fault. I think what the problem is here is they are all, well, not all of them, but most of them are on a one-track way of thinking. And I don't think, just because they've got experience with video cameras and DSLRs and photography and filmography, I don't think they've got the computer experience. And that's where the difference is, because I knew in my mind when I was looking through all these posts and these apparently professional top videographers and stuff that have been doing it for years, apparently were saying to people, you know, you can't just get a HDMI feed from a camera and broadcast it to YouTube. It doesn't work like that. And I was thinking, anything, listen, I sat there thinking, I've been working with computers for 20 odd years. I know that it's possible to get a feed from anything. If something's got an output, then you can capture any, even if it's an old BNC connection from a composite, you could feed that straight into OBS and broadcast out live. So yeah, so anyway, my point is, I want to do a lot more video stuff this year. I'm hoping with the new DSLR that I've just ordered, the GH3, it's going to be good enough quality for me to go out there and do some serious production work. Because again, going back to the image of Clickteam and Fusion3, I want to stipulate that I want to work on some serious production work for the company and for the products as well, because it deserves the push. The company deserves the push, and the product deserves the push. So I'm going to give it all I've got. But yeah, so I'm hoping in 3 months' time that I can settle my workload a little bit better, because I really do foresee myself setting up a video production company. That's exactly what I want to do, but again, only a local one, nothing too extravagant. I'm not going to go international or national or anything like that. I want to set up a local video production company, and film production. So but I'm going to use this as trial and error. The first 6 months of this year, when I get this new camera this week, is going to be like a trial and error, and I can get it onto the computer, fire up Adobe Premiere Pro, and get reacquainted with that and After Effects and all that, and anything's possible. Anything's possible. I've still been doing the camera work over the years, but just still footage. I've just been taking photos mostly. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting hands on with the camera stuff. It's going to be awesome. But yeah, apart from that, there's nothing much else for me to touch on. I think I've covered quite enough in this podcast today. I hope I haven't bored you to death. That's if we've even got any listeners left at this time into the podcast. But yeah, it's been good. It's been good touching base with everybody. I'm going to get some videos done for the Academy today because, like I said, I've not done anything for 3 or 4 weeks. It's been beyond my control. We've had, next door neighbours been having a new roof put on, and we're kind of at the end. We're connected because we're the end terraced, so there was too much banging, too much noise going on. Way too much noise going on, so I really couldn't do anything about that. But I'm going to get on it today because, they're still working on the roof. I don't know why I'm whispering; they can't hear me, but they're still working on the roof. But when I went out this morning to drop my partner off at work, they wasn't there. So that's why I came up really quickly and did this podcast, because I wanted to get it out of the way before they started with the banging and the saws and all that. So I'm going to get some videos done because I don't think they're going to show up today. I'm optimistic. I'm hoping they don't, so I can get some ClickFusion Academy videos done. In the meantime, I don't really have much more to comment on. I might do another podcast towards the end of the week if I get time and these guys are not back doing the roof. But yeah, apart from that, if you want to touch on anything that I've discussed in this podcast today, leave a comment below. You can leave a comment. You can send me an email if you want. You can do whatever you want. Yeah, there's going to be loads of interesting stuff coming up, so it's been really good to get all this off my chest because it's been building and building and building. Yeah, I'll put some links in the description to this video of anything that we've discussed that I think you might need a link to. But yeah, it's been good. It's been good getting all this off my chest. So thank you for listening today, and I'll see you guys real soon.